Thank you so very much. This means the world to me. I have been with Blushington, oh my gosh, since pretty much I moved to Los Angeles. I'm from New York, and the company holds a very special place in my heart. To give you a little background about me and Blushington, I had moved from New York and I was, realistically, let's just be real. I was starting over from a divorce and they were so amazing. And I had never heard of a makeup store that women could just come and get their makeup done and feel good about themselves. So I loved that. And I had done some makeup in New York and I started out with Blushington as just an average employee, like minimum wage average employee. I then worked my way up to key holder and then to trainer to almost like a manager position. And then I kept working my way up to director of artistry. And then I ended up opening the stores in when they had Newport Beach. There was Texas, there was another California, there was New York. And then I met my husband and I moved away, but I've always held on to a very special relationship with the owners and with the company. And it's something that I truly believe in. So whenever they asked me to, do this class with you guys and be a part of the academy, it was truly a no-brainer, because if I put something, like if I give even a little bit of myself to a company, I'm always with them. Like it's family at that point. And I think that's really important. And I consider them family. So that's why I was very excited to do this. And I love a glowy skin. I think anybody that knows me knows I love effortless, just glowy, pretty skin. And in the makeup world today, that's actually what's going to get you hired. Because I know a lot of people do this like super heavy, so much makeup, baking, contour. That's amazing and beautiful. But at the end of the day, most clients just want to look like a better version of themselves. And if you can achieve that, you've got their trust, and they're going to keep hiring you for their weddings, baby pictures, engagement photos, and it really turns into a career. And I cannot like push that enough. I'm like, I don't care if you are from a small town in Arkansas, you can have a very, 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 very successful career, even better than somebody in California. So it totally doesn't matter where you're at. And I think that's really important to know. So at the very end, we are going to do a little Q&A. So any questions that you guys have, just ask me. And then just heads up, if you hear my baby crying, my friend Leah is here. So she's going to kind of be helping me with my babies. And I'm like struggling to put my hair behind my ears because I did get my ears pierced and it's a little sore. So I'm like doing a very slow dip over here. So just heads up. So I think let's just go right in. Like, I just want to have like fun and, talk and everything else, which I guess I'll be talking to myself for a majority of the time. So I'm going to start first off with eyes. Everybody is different. So whenever I would train at Blushington, I always told people, whatever your natural way of doing something is, don't really change that. You can alter it a little bit, but always go with your natural instinct, because your natural instinct is always usually the best. So that's like one of the biggest tips that Alexis Vogel, when I actually assisted her, she was Pam Anderson's makeup artist, that's what she told me, and it really kind of stuck with me. She was like, you can improve things, but never forget what you naturally do as an artist, and stick with that. So just something that I want to pass along. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prime my eyes, and I'm using the Anastasia eye primer. And let me open this up so that way we have this. So I like to use my fingers at this point. I'm just going to lightly dab, mostly on the lid, and then I'm going to work it up, because you don't want to go too high to the brow bone, because whenever you go too high to the brow bone, it creates almost like a white film look, and you don't want that. You want that to be very natural. Like, you want this to kind of be more like skin tone, so that way it appears way more natural. So always like apply the primer more to the lid and then just build up. And if you're working on a client, I know sometimes like people do like to use their fingers. If you're working on a client, I do use a brush. Sometimes if I want to work a moisturizer into the skin, I will always ask like, hey, I just sanitized do you mind if I like push in a moisturizer with my hand? So if you are getting ready to start out as a makeup artist, always know, use a brush first. But if there's a product that you're like, you know what, I really, really, really want to use my hands, always ask the client first and make sure that they see you sanitize your hands, especially in today's world. Sanitization is key. Next up, I'm going to use this little brush, and this one is number 785, and it's from Bedelium. So what I'm first going to do, where's my bronzer at? So this is the Jouer bronzer. So whenever I prep an eye, no matter what, I always prep it with a bronzer or a blush, and I usually finish with a bronzer or a blush because that brings in the natural color from your cheeks or the warmth in your face, and it just tends to look more natural because everything is just like, it just like meshes better. So I'm just gonna use the left side, and this is their light medium, and I'm just gonna do in my crease little tiny strokes, so I'm not pushing too hard. And I think one of the biggest things that I always saw whenever I was training people is that people push way too hard. So whenever you push hard, you tend not to be able to blend a product that well. So you're like pushing it into one area versus like blurring it out. So you want to have a super, super, super light touch. And we're just gonna go in the crease. But if you look, it's super subtle because I'm gonna like build this in to my bronzer. So everything's gonna like mesh really well together. And then I know whenever I would teach classes, people would say, how do you get the crease without it? Like, how do you open up your eye? If you hold the mirror, a lot of makeup people hold the mirror right here. Biggest mistake you could possibly do for yourself. So when you're doing your makeup at home and you're trying to like really get into your eyes or like put on mascara or even lashes, hold the mirror down in your hands and look down in the mirror. That way it opens up your eye space. You have a lot more room in your eye area. And if you're working on a client, I never tell a client to close their eyes. I'm like, I do not like a client's eyes closed because then they kind of squinch and they can create like little creases. So I always tell them like, just hold your hands down and just look at your hands or your kneecaps. Just look straight down. Don't ever close the eye. Now I'm just like buffing this in just a little bit more. I'm going just a little bit. If you can tell, I'm working a little bit above my crease and I'm just fanning it out. And if you want your eyes to kind of like, I think Instagram filters has that like fox eye app to where it totally changes your appearance. Like no one looks like that, but it kind of like lifts the eye. If you want that, then just start with a light bronzer to slowly build in that little V, and then whenever we put the concealer, it's gonna lift it up. So it's like a natural fox eye without the filter. Okay, so super, super, super subtle. Now I'm gonna go in with the Anastasia Soft Glam palette, and I'm gonna first use the color Burnt Orange, which is a really great neutral. I'm still keeping with this brush. It's a really great neutral. And it's so pretty for summer because also in the summertime, people don't want a lot of makeup. Like you don't want like a super, super heavy like eye makeup, maybe at night, but during the day, you just want everything to be like soft and beautiful and pretty. And if you follow a lot of like, you know, makeup artists like Patrick Tall or Jose, they all have like a very soft, natural type look. And it's so pretty and so effortless. And I'm telling you, if you were going to do makeup for people and you want to, you know, you're aspiring to be a makeup artist, people want effortless. They truly, and I cannot stress it enough, want to look like themselves. In 13 years of doing makeup, I think I've had, I'm going to say under 10 people in 13 years that truly say, I want to look like somebody different. I want a ton of makeup. I want to be baked. I want to be heavy, like literally under 10. Everybody just wants to look like the best version of themselves and feel good about themselves. And I think that's what if you can achieve that for a client, that's what's going to make them continuously hire you. So with this, I'm just still staying with that burnt orange, which if you do not have this palette, it's more of like, it's like a pretty, like a peachy brown color. It's not orange like the name at all. So it's just like a really pretty peachy neutral. And I like something with like a peachy undertone because on most skin tones, it kind of brightens and it looks really nice. Okay, so as you can tell, I've been kind of like bringing it out because I am gonna like push it up to try to give me a little bit of a fox eye. My eyes don't naturally go like that, so we'll see what happens. And then next I'm gonna use this color called Rustic in the same palette. So this is a really good palette, especially if you're starting out as a makeup artist. The reason being is because if somebody wants like a very soft, like pink, shimmery, this is all here. You have like a good base of like peachy neutrals, and then you have some darker colors that you can easily put on the lid, smoke out, make a smokier look, pop some shimmer on. So you get a bunch of different looks like this. So this is why this is a really great palette. I've had it in my kit for years. I think literally the day that it came out, I like went and purchased it. Now I'm just gonna take that rustic color and I'm just gonna build out the outer corner because I'm gonna do a little shadow liner. And I am not really going in here, if you can tell. I'm just strictly doing it to the outside. And you see how it's like helping to lift my eye up that way? That's what you want to do. And then I am using brush, I'm 777. Strictly in there. Okay, so before I do my eyeliner, because I want like a little fox eye eyeliner, I'm gonna take this Girlactic shimmer. Love Girlactic. So Girlactic has actually been at Blushington as long as I have been, which is so crazy. It's been a very long time. So if you've never tried any of their products are fantastic. But this is like a cream. And what I'm gonna do, so the best part about like a summer glowy makeup is everybody's eyes have a little bit of like a gold shimmer to them, right? So whenever I'm on set, usually no matter what, I'll pop just even if it's a smidge right there in the center, not all over, just right there in the center, because it really truly pops. And it really, like the camera hits it really pretty whenever you're just, you know, if you're just somebody you want to get to do your makeup better and somebody's got like their iPhone out and everybody's taking a photo, like it really just brightens up the eye. And also if you ever want your eyes to appear a little bigger, it just opens everything up. And I am just strictly popping it right there in the center. I'm not doing it anywhere else. Pop it again. And this is a really great cream. So I know a lot of times people get scared of creams, and there are some creams that are going to crease and they're really hard to work with. This is not one of them. This one truly, like, I mean, even in the time that I was talking, it had pretty much dried. So it dries really great. It stays, the longevity of it's fantastic. But in the summertime, if you're going to the beach, pop this on and it's like you look like you have on a little bit of makeup and like you're fresh, but you're not overdone, because I think it's so important in the summer to not be overdone. And then this is, I've talked about this on my page before. This is one of like the most amazing eyeliners. I tell everybody, if you're a makeup artist and you do not have lionfish in your kit, you're crazy. You need lionfish in your kit. Let's just be honest. It's so pretty. And the reason being is because it's that perfect like medium brown, but it has a little shimmer to it. And it blends so seamlessly. It stays. And I use brown more than I do black. I actually don't love using black unless if we're going for a specific look. I like using brown because it's so much more natural. It looks so pretty on every single person. And that's why I always say like brown lionfish, it's so pretty. So I'm just gonna line my lash line, and whatever you're doing a client's makeup, have them look the opposite way. So if you're lining the left side of their eye, have them look to the right side, have them look to the left, and it helps them to not get as teary-eyed. And I'm really just working it in to my lash line because it helps if you're not doing lashes that day, it helps the lash line appear a little bit thicker. So then I am just going to put this on, and I'm just going to lift it up just a little bit because I'm going to draw it out with a shadow. And I have to get really quiet. You guys are probably like, thank God she's being quiet for a second, but I have to get really quiet when I do my eyeliner. So tip to doing a really good wing is, again, hold your mirror down and flick it out just like this. Do it just a little bit. And then I'm gonna use Rustic and Cypress Umber, which is just like a little bit of a darker brown, so still not black. And I'm just gonna go over it. So that way it's like a very diffused, soft winged eyeliner. And if you notice, I'm using, technically this is a lip brush, which you will see what I use for a lip brush in a second, because I kind of like do everything a little backwards sometimes. But just go over it and then build it up. And then right in the inner corners, I'm just gonna take the color Rustic and I'm just gonna give a little bit of a shadow right there. So like very, very, very subtle, but appropriate for summer. And then same thing with this eye. So again, as you can tell, I'm looking down and I'm doing this, which makes it 10 times easier. And if you're somebody that you're like, you know what, I don't want to do a winged eyeliner, keep it, cut it off like right here, and then just kind of buff up with the shadow a little bit. Okay, gonna dip again in those two browns. You guys hear all my baby grunts? He's so cute. He just turned 3 months old yesterday. Proud mom. But he's so cute. We call him grunts because anytime he gets ready to go to sleep, he's like, so he's like the best baby, but he just grunts. And yes, lionfish is the color. I just saw that come through in the chat. I'm sorry, I had to talk about my baby grunting because he's so cute. He's like the most smiley little baby. He's adorable. Okay, so again, I'm just going to, oh, that's a big baby sneeze. Working mom, right? Like this is just real life. Okay. And then I'm gonna go in here. Okay, and I need a little bit more on this side with my eyeliner. Okay. So
Jess, can you zoom in just a little?
Yes. I'm just gonna pull you guys really close. Hold on 1 second. All my future things out of the way. Okay, is that better? A little bit? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize it was that far away. So yeah, so I'm just taking, and again, this is a lip brush. So the reason I like using a lip brush is it's pretty fine. And if you feel more comfortable using a angle brush, you totally can. I prefer a lip brush because I feel like you can get a cleaner line with a lip brush, or you can do a very fine point eyeliner brush. You can use that too, but the angled ones, I don't love personally, again, if that's how you can easily do it, then do it that way. But I just don't love that. So again, I'm just kind of like building out that brown eyeshadow. And I'm just gonna put some right here. Okay, so then I'm gonna like clean everything up, but now just whatever mascara you guys have, you can put this on. And we can also like darken it up in a little bit, but this is just like a light summer but sultry eye. And if any of you guys are moms out there, you might get a kick out of this because my girlfriend did. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna do this master class. And you know, I think we had like almost like we were close to like 500 people, which I was really excited about. And I wasn't gonna have anybody help me with my 2 kids. And they were like, you're doing a live master class with 2 kids under 3 years old. Are you crazy? So I was like, Hail Mary, Leah, can you come over and help me? So I just thought any moms out there would find that very funny because you know how unpredictable kids are. And that just seems like a recipe for disaster. Okay, so I'm applying my mascara and I like to coat the tops and the bottoms so that way it helps them stay. So you can kind of maneuver them if you want them more up, you can push them more up, you can feather them to the side. So that is why I like to do that and really, really like wiggle in. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the skin, which skin is my favorite thing in the whole entire universe. And then after the skin, we can go back and maybe like buff it out. But okay, these 2 products, this is a Radiance, this is a CC Dolan Correct. So cool fact about this one is it kind of turns, I'll show you, but it kind of turns like a little bit like your skin tone. So it's really cool. So it comes out purple and then you put it on and it like magically matches my skin, which is crazy. But this is how I like to prime. So so this company is called Arborian. And what was I doing in LA? I was doing something in LA and I went into Blushington and they were like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I have heard about this brand and I have to try it. I fell in love. It is so good. It's a Korean brand. So this is their like Radiance like blur primer. So this is fantastic. So I'm priming my skin with this. I already had on moisturizer and I already had on like some under eye cream. So now I'm putting this on. So you can just honestly, on days that you're like going to the beach or doing something quick, this and some concealer, really nice, like fresh, but it really like blurs and it gives a little bit of a radiance. So then I like to layer this one, the Dull Correct, over this. So watch how this is going to magically appear into my skin. This is when I was like, and I really went into the West Hollywood store and I was talking to Steffi and my mind was just like totally blown. So this gives a really nice radiance too. And it's just gonna help, like, look at how pretty that is if you do not want to wear makeup. And this is the thing, getting a client's skin really good when you're a makeup artist is the best thing you can do. I'm gonna say that, you know, again, out of all the years that I've been doing the makeup, the one thing that people are so self-conscious about is their skin. And they can have beautiful skin. It's just something that people feel like they have to cover up their face. And you teaching them that they don't have to put on a ton of makeup. They do not have to, you know, layer heavy, heavy, heavy products. These are both very lightweight products and they work. And they come in the kit with the Academy. So that way, if you're, again, starting out as a makeup artist, like this is really all you need. Like it's so easy. And now I'm gonna do this. So this is their CC cream, and this is the color Claire. And I'm gonna use my little beauty blender. But look, okay, so it's white. You guys are probably thinking I'm crazy. I'm not. It melts into the skin tone. So again, when you're starting out as a makeup artist, you don't want to have to like invest a lot in your kit. It gets way too expensive to have every single color known to man in your kit. So the fact that you can take this and it's going to melt into like a good amount of different skin tones, and then you can build it up, which I'm going to show you how to build it up with another one and mix and match. It's really easy, and it covers, but it doesn't mask somebody's skin. And I think that is so huge. Like I'm telling you, I've had clients when I used to work at Blushington, and like even now, like I'll work with some of the girls in country music, and they're like, you're one of the only makeup artists that actually let my skin show through. Like I don't feel like I have on a ton of makeup. And that's why they keep using me, is because it's just like, I'm just making them a better version of themselves. I'm not trying to change them. Nobody wants to feel like they need to be changed. Like no, like we should all love ourselves and just want to look like a better version. And that's okay. Okay. So I put this on, and like the coverage and the glow is so pretty. And now I'm going to do, what am I going to do? Yeah, I'm going to brighten with this first. So I'm using this little like corrector palette. So this little pale pink, this is the Seal It Correct one. This is going to brighten up. And honestly, like, like the peach is going to neutralize dark under eye circles. And I will use the peach on some clients, but honestly, like I will use a pink base under most people, just because of the fact that no matter who you are, everybody needs brightening. Everybody, unless if you're like, 12 years old and you just have that naturally bright appearance, everybody needs to be brightened underneath there. So that's why I'm like, just always use a little bit of pink, a little bit of like a shimmer pink as well. So now I'm just gonna use this concealer, and this is the same thing. So it's, what color is this one? Oh yeah, this one's Claire. I was like, I can't even read that one. So it's Claire. It's just the odd ginseng. And this you can kind of like trace up, right? So trying to do like the fox eye, because that's definitely a trend for the summer. And I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit. And this is so lightweight. Like I can't even, like, I don't even know if you can tell, it's so lightweight, but it actually covers. So you kind of can't put too much of this on. And I know that sounds really crazy because a lot of makeup you can definitely put too much on. This you can't. It's so lightweight. So that's why I was really impressed with this product. I was like, ooh, this is really nice. And then I'm just gonna like dab it in. So I'm not brushing, I'm just dabbing. And especially when we get right here, just dabbing and angling that up. Okay, so push it in, and then I am gonna go back and push everything in with my beauty blender. But this is also the thing, always get this right here in a client. People always forget about this, and I cannot tell you, it drives me crazy. Get that little inner part. Okay, and then I'm gonna do one more thing, and then we're gonna, I'm just gonna have you guys, they have a little video that is really, really, really cool, and it kind of talks about their academy, and they're gonna do that. I'm gonna show you one more thing before we go to the video, and then after we go to the video, we're gonna like finish everything up, and we're gonna do a Q&A. I told you guys, I talk forever. It's like not my fault. I get so like, da 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 da. Okay, so now this is brush 775. I'm just taking it and like melting under here because I am going to do a little bit of a shadow, but I want that to be The end. Okay. So this is the color Caramel. This is well, it's a CC cream. So people are going to use it as a foundation. It also comes out not as white as the other one, but white. Whenever you're working on a client, it's already turning dark, right? And you're like, okay, I need their foundation to be a little bit darker, but I don't know if I have anything and I just want it to look natural. This is so pretty. So this came in the kit and I was like, this is a beautiful bronzer. Like, it is such a beautiful natural bronzer. And this is when you can really like play as an artist and be like, you know what? Like, I don't want to carry a lot of products in my kit. So if somebody needs to be a mixture between like these two, you can mix these two. You can put on this one, you can warm them up with this one. And there's been so many times that I have been on set and I'm like, oh, I don't have that color. I'm going to have to like, you know, mix it a little bit, but that's okay. It works. And this, because it's a CC cream, looks so pretty and so natural. And I'm going to show you guys another little tip after we watch the video. So yeah, so all I did was just melt that in, and I'm just going to do a little bit down my nose and along my jawline. But how natural does that look? Like, that looks so natural. It does not look like a crazy contour, because again, it's summer. You don't want it to look like that. You definitely don't want it to. You want it to be so natural and just like the sun truly hit my face. And that's what it looks like. So how to show you guys that trick, because this is amazing. And I'm going to show you guys another one, but I think Joe's going to show you guys the video, and it's just a few minutes. So you definitely want to come back and finish, because we have some highlight, we have some lips, and we have a Q&A. So we'll be right back.
In just 25 hours at the Blushington Academy, you'll be ready to increase your earning potential and become your own beauty boss. Blushington Academy is valuable to self-taught makeup artists and for those that went to school and graduated. Blushington is an incredible place to advance your career.
The Blushington Academy is giving you all the industry secrets, tips, tricks that they know, and they are giving that to you in that 25-hour course. That's priceless.
What surprised me as a new makeup artist was all of the work that went on behind the scenes. The skills I learned at Blushington Academy would have come in handy 10 years ago when I first started my career.
Along with the Blushing Academy, you get your own Blushington kit. The kit is curated by their artists, so you get this amazing kit that you are going to use on every single client. Realistically, what you pay for the course, you're getting in the kit.
When I first saw the kit, I was like, wow.
It's rare to find a makeup academy that provides such luxurious products.
So to turn up our look, let's grab our eyeshadow palettes and look at the color choices that we have. I love this palette. The colors are so vibrant and so beautiful.
You are so overwhelmed with where do I start? Where do I begin? How do I get my name out there? Blushington is behind you, and they are going to help you do that. You are a featured certified artist on their website. So if you're in Kansas City, Missouri, people can book you, brides can book you. Having a huge company like Blushington behind you, that is something that when you go to another school, you don't get.
Having a shop-in-shop at Blushington is going to be such a game changer. I'm always recommending wonderful products to my clients, and it's going to be so nice to be able to help them purchase products that I stand behind, and it's going to be nice for me because I'll be able to make a little extra income.
You educate your clients, you use the products on them, and they have an option to buy directly from you, from Blushington, so that way that's commission in your pocket. Why did no one else think of this? It's amazing.
The loneliness of the career can really get to you because you're essentially an entrepreneur building a one-person business. But with Blushington, I could create community and rely on them for encouragement and for business matters. I honestly feel that this course is an amazing value.
You'll have a lifetime access to a new group of makeup artists, so you'll always have someone in your corner supporting you and there to answer any questions that you may come across in your career. There are so many things that we have to learn the hard way, especially as freelance artists. Blushington Academy takes away some of the pains of growing.
If you are just starting, or if you've been doing it for years like I have, you can never stop learning. If you are getting ready to sign up for the Academy, just know it is just the beginning of your career.
Hello. Are we back? We're back? Okay. Okay. So yeah, by the way, just random thought, but like how awesome is it? So I thought this was so genius, and I have to bring it up before I like touch up underneath my eyes. But whenever Natasha was telling me that these artists have their own shop, like that's amazing, because I guarantee any of you that are current makeup artists, because I know it happens to me every single time I do somebody's makeup, they're like, where can I get this? I need to buy this. Can I buy it from you directly? Can I have this right now? I'll give you 20 bucks. They want it, and they want it now. So why send them to like a major retailer that you don't make a commission on, and you're the one that found the product for them, and you're the one that applied it, and you showed them how to use it, and you taught them your tips and your tricks? You should get that commission. Like 100%, you should get that commission. So I just think that it's so awesome that you can go to a client, do makeup on them, they love the products, and you send them to your shop and you make commission. It's just like a no-brainer. And that's why I was like, why did no one else think about that? It's so smart. Anyway, so with my under eyes, I'm going to use the Stila, and this is like a lavender, so it's just going to help to brighten just a little bit. And this is the thing, I know that baking is a huge trend. I get it. Those girls look very, very, very flawless. But I can go ahead and tell you, I'm mid-30s. I have creases, and I still get Botox, but I still have creases. Like, I'll just be honest with you guys, right? If you baked underneath my eyes, and you're a makeup artist, and you're coming to me and you baked underneath my eyes, you just aged me 10 years. Trust me, you literally just like, you put me in that over 40 box real fast, okay? And I'm almost already there. So I don't need to be expedited into that next box, okay? So that is the thing. I'm like, just don't bake. And especially on like mature clients, less is more. Less is so much more when it comes to foundation, when it comes to concealer, when it comes to powder. You want to apply the concealer a little bit lower and build it up. And again, those are things that will get you hired. And if you don't believe me, try it and then be like, okay, she was right. Because it's little things like that. When I work on a more mature clientele, they're like, I love the fact that you did not cake on the powder, because I have these girls and they're baking me, like a Kardashian, and they look beautiful, and their makeup artists are so talented, but they're also in a different age group. So what you do on one, you can't do on another. And I think that sometimes, like in the makeup world, people forget to say, this is what you do for this age group, and this is what you do for this age group. And yeah, so just heads up on that. Okay, so I just like to brighten these areas, and this is the only powder that I'm doing. So now I am going to, I'm actually just going to use this first. So I'm going to use the Revlon highlights, which this is a drugstore highlighter. I've mentioned it on my page before. I think I did like a little Insta story, like mini tutorial with drugstore makeup, because you don't always have to use products that are, super expensive. Like, obviously I'm a makeup artist. I'll try anything and everything because I love everything, but you don't always have to do that. And this one is a really pretty one. Like, if you look at the glow, it's a really nice one. And I just like to kind of bring it right around here. And I swear we are almost done and ready for that Q&A, I promise. And then if you just do a little bit of the nose and buff it out, it makes everything a good focal point. And then just put a tiny amount right there. So it evens everything up when the camera is hitting you. Just heads up. And now I'm just gonna go with a little blush. And this is Jouer. So this is a really pretty natural blush. It's super, 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 what color is this one? This one is Adore. Super, super, super light and natural. And Jouer is one of those brands that it's been around so long at Blushington. Like I remember when we first got some of their like tinted moisturizers in. Great, great brand. And then I like to do it in the summertime, a little bit on the nose. Okay, that's it. Just very sure wash. And then remember when I said I like to go back with my blush color and put a little bit on my eyeshadow to tie that in. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm mostly sticking it to the very top. And this one isn't super pink, just so you guys know. So it's not like it's super pink. It is more natural. If you're doing like a hot pink blush, maybe just use a light bronzer on your eye. Let's not use a hot pink. That's a totally different tutorial. One that I probably will not be teaching, to be honest. But, you know, I like it more natural. Okay, so we're just doing this one. And like I said, it's a little bit right here. And then, oh, the liquid shimmer is Galactic. And now, so I already did a little bit of my eyebrows and I used the medium brown by Anastasia Brow Wiz. So with eyebrows, this is just, and if you guys follow me, you've seen me say it before, but whenever you're doing the eyebrow, never push and draw, never push and draw. So what you're going to want to do is always like brush the hair up a little bit. And then you're only going to want to fill in the blank spaces and little tiny brow strokes. So it's almost like you're doing your own micro needling job with a brow pencil. And in case if anybody's going to ask, I personally do not recommend micro needling. That is just my personal opinion. I feel like I get asked that all the time and I'm like, I just say no. I just like a regular old brow pencil. So Anastasia's been around forever. I think everybody probably has this or has had it or uses it or whatever. Like it's one of those staple products. Where did my lip liner go? Okay, so next I'm just gonna line my lips. I just have a nude liner. So I always like to overdraw my lips. I can't help it. I just like them big and plump. If you want, you can always contour the lip, which might as well just do that since we're here. So I'm going to use the Herborian in Caramel. I'm just going to do a teeny tiny amount. And I need a teeny tiny brush. Okay, so I'm going to be putting the bronzer right under here. So I'm not dragging it all the way out to the sides. I'm just doing it right here. This one right here. And right here. So you're drawing like, you know, like those little artists back in the day before they had the little like pinstripes. Do that. And then I like to come in the middle. Everybody's so different in how they do this. I personally like to come in the middle. Okay. And now, this is that. I'm just going to buff this in just a little bit. And it just helps a little bit to give like a little like lift without overdrawing that much. And always get the sides. So many people forget to get the sides. But if you look, this kind of just gave me like a little like down there. And then I'm going to be using Be Lovely. So fun fact about Be Lovely is that I helped Steffi and her sister and Julie Hewitt create this lipstick. How many years ago? Oh my gosh, it has to be like over 6 years ago. like I can't even think about how long ago it was. It was so long, but we made this like amazing product with Julie Hewitt. So crazy. I never thought when I started at Blushington, I can honestly say I never thought in a million years, ever, that I would be asked to help create a lipstick with the owner, with Julie Hewitt, who, by the way, if you guys don't know Julie Hewitt, she is like a world-renowned makeup artist. She works on George Clooney. Like she travels with George Clooney. She does everybody, like Olivia Colpo. Like she's like she's like an OG in the makeup world, right? Like she is an OG. She is the real deal and she is fantastic. So when I got to do this, I was like, wait a second, what? Wait, really? I get to do this? Oh my God. So I was like so excited about it. So this is where, so when I'm working on a client, I use an angled brush. So can you guys see that? So this is brush number 762. So most people use this for eyeliner. I like using it for lips because I think you can get, especially on a red lip, you can get a really defined lip with an angled brush over a lip liner brush any day of the week. I guarantee it. Like I will not use a lip brush on a client. I actually had to do a client this morning for Entertainment Tonight. It was doing Camille and I used a angled brush on her. I will never, ever use a lip brush because you see right here, the angle gives the most precise line. So I'm telling you, if you want to get the most precise red lip that you've ever done in your life, use an angled brush. It will like game changer. It's amazing. So that's what I'm doing. Like how pretty is that color? It's so pretty. And we tried it on every single different skin tone and it was so nice. It's exclusive to Blushington. And I'm trying to think of what person Julie Hewitt used it on and she like posted about it. And I was like total fangirling. I was like, oh my God, Mom, oh my God. So it was just like something that had come such full circle. And then what I was going to tell you, so we're pretty much done. It's just a little tip. So if you're a makeup artist and you are going to somebody's house, 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh my gosh, I love the makeup. And then they go to put on their outfit and they're like, I'm not tan. And realistically, whenever we get new packaging, hopefully Blushington will carry my tanning line and you won't have that problem. But shameless plug, what can I say? I'm human. But this is the thing. If they do not have on their undressed tans, take a little of this pink corrector with the caramel bronzer. I call it a bronzer. It's a CC cream. But so I'm just going to take this brush and I'm going to melt it in. Just try not to get too low. And like my tan is coming off, but I am going to give a nice blurring effect to their décolleté with a little bit of radiance. And I'm going to top it off with the Revlon highlighter. And obviously I'd have to bronze up my face a little bit. But I cannot tell you how many times look, like my chest is even. It doesn't look like a lot of makeup because I know there's like a lot of body blurs out there. And when you put it on the skin, it is thick. It is like so thick. My tan is coming off, so I'm patchy underneath here. So you guys just saw like me do this, and I'm telling you, you are gonna have to do that to a client at some point in your career. I guarantee it, because their spray tan will be coming off, or they just want a little bit of a glow for whatever event they're going to. So mix like whatever bronzer you have. You can mix a cream bronzer, but just put it on the back of your hand, warm it up with a highlighter, mix the two. It looks so natural. And then I'm going to take the Revlon highlights. And I mean, I don't know why I decided to be like Mr. T today, but should have maybe thought about that before I did this tutorial. It's really cute necklaces, whatever. I barely get to get dressed up as a mom, so I took this a little too serious. I was like, oh, I get to wear my gold jewels. Okay. So anyway, okay. So then you just take like that Revlon highlighter and buff it on, and boom, you're even, you're shiny. It's good. And then because I did a good amount there, you would just have to like, warm up your face a little bit. And that's fine. So you just want to make sure that it matches. But that is like a really good tip, because I'm telling you, I've had to do that so many times, because you might not carry a body bronzer with you, and you might not have anything in your kit, and you want to make the client happy. So just knowing how to do that is really important. And then it's so much better than like a body blur that's just too heavy. So all I did was pop on the Jouer bronzer in light medium. And that is it. So super, super easy, fresh, glowy makeup that it's like, it looks like my skin. Like it looks like my skin. I don't feel heavy. And I know I keep saying it, but I really truly cannot stress enough. Anytime I've ever gotten hired as a makeup artist, it's because they're like, I like the fact that my skin looks like my skin when you do it. Like, I don't feel like I'm covered in makeup. I don't feel cakey. I don't have that problem. And the reason I don't get my makeup done is because I feel like every makeup artist just like spackles. It's just like too much and too heavy. So I promise, knowing a client's skin and taking a lighter approach to it really, 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 really goes a long way. And also listening to your client, like that's priceless. Like listening to your client is priceless, because sometimes they do know best. They've lived with their face for however many years they've been alive, and they know their face like the back of their hand, and you can enhance it, but don't ever doubt their knowledge of their face. So that's also what I try to tell people when I'm training them. Okay. Do you guys
Thank you, Jess.
have any questions?
If you can hear, can everybody hear me? I want to make sure I'm here. We did have a question earlier from Stephanie Mathewson. She asked, how do you apply shadow on hooded eyes or even use shimmer products? Do you have any tips? That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes. So on hooded eyes, I actually tend to stay away from shimmer on the lid area, because with a hooded eye, it is kind of gonna, it's gonna kind of like go up a little bit. So you can stick to a hooded eye, the shimmer right there in the corner, which is gonna help like brighten up. There's only one person, I'm trying to think of what person it was. I know I was doing it for one, for a Hollywood something. It was like an online thing. Anyway, and she just wanted shimmer all over it. She had a very hooded eye. So we made that a look. Like that was a look. That is not something that I would do on an everyday person. I am going to stick to more mattes, but she was like younger. She was like, no, I just want like full shimmer. She had a very hooded eye. So we did like a shimmer all the way around. We did not do any crease color, nothing like that. It was just like shimmer. We did it underneath her lower line, lash line, but that was a look. That is a very specific, like I'm going for this specific look. Everyday people, I stick to matte on a hooded eye, and I just pop the shimmer right there in the inner corners to kind of open it up and give them a little bit of a pop, because it will transfer. Even the most like stay there primer, it's a hooded eye, it will transfer a little bit. So I just try to stay away from it and just pop it in those guys.
Fabulous. Thank
Inner
you.
corners.
I had another one here from Katie. How did you let your own freckles show through while evening out your skin?
Okay, so my client this morning, so her name's Camille Kostek. She is like cover of Sports Illustrated model, and I did her makeup for Entertainment Tonight. And she loves her freckles showing through, and I don't like to cover freckles. So I tend to do a little bit heavier coverage throughout here. So her freckles are mostly like through here, right? So I'm doing very light coverage through here, like more tinted moisturizer. And then I'm doing a little bit of like more concealer. I put tinted moisturizer all over her face. I don't even use foundation on her. I do tinted moisturizer, and then I just cover up. Bye, thank you. My friend is leaving, so I think she deserves honestly like a huge round of applause for keeping my kids quiet during this. Bye, girl. Real life, what can I say? But on her, I just do a little bit more concealer through here. So that way this is all showing. And I'll do a little bit heavier concealer around her nose, but I do not cover up her freckles at all. I'm like so against it. I think freckles are so beautiful and so cute. I like cringe when somebody says to cover them up. I'm like, but why? Let's talk about this. We need to talk this out because you need to let those things show.
Yeah. I have one from Kristen, and this is something I struggle with too. So do you have any tips for mascara smudges on the lid after you've done all the work?
On the lid, when you're like, as if you are an artist doing somebody's, or just on yours personally?
I think, well, if I were asking a question, I would ask for both. I'm not exactly sure what Kristen was specifying.
Yeah, no. So whenever, if I'm doing a client, I hold my finger up, or I have, this is really weird. So like just holding a little brush, or like a little, they have eyeshadow things, and you can just like hold the device like right there. So if you're on a client, and then just build it up, let it dry a few seconds. And then if you let it dry, you should not have any transfer. You really, truly shouldn't. And when I am working with a client, I tell them to like hold your eyes down until everything dries, because it will transfer if it's still wet. On myself, I kind of do the same thing, and that goes, and it's so, I promise you, because my mom used to have the same problem, and I was like, you're holding your mirror wrong. So whenever she's doing it, like, I promise you, looking down and going gently, like that's the thing, like going super gently and not like flicking it up. Like I feel like a lot of times people like flick too hard and they're flicking it up, and that's when it's going to transfer. But if you just like look down and do it very gently, and you focus more on the root of the lash versus the tip of the lash, it doesn't happen. Like it literally, I don't even, I barely get mascara up there. Like it doesn't really happen, because I focus more on like the root, and then I just kind of like let it dry for a second, and then I still don't look up for a good amount of time. Like I still am kind of like looking down. I'm not like looking all the way up until it dries. So I just think you have to have longer drying time. And if you're working on a client, hold your finger up and get it on your finger, and work from the root to the base, the root to the tip, without focusing too much on the tips.
I'm taking down my notes right here. Thank you. In the best interest of your time and everybody else, I think maybe just one more quick question. Kimberly asked, would you apply all these CC creams and primers on an oily skin base?
No. So with oily skin, if you wanted to do, you could, so this is the thing, everybody's so different. So if you're going to do oily skin and they have like larger pores, I would do a mattifying primer, right? But I wouldn't do a mattifying primer all over the skin. I'm very against mattifying primers all over the skin. That's just me personally. So I always, if I have an oily skin client, I ask the client, okay, where are you oiliest at, right? Most people through the nose, forehead, chin. I'm just going to treat this area with a mattifying primer, and this area, chin, here, that is it. They can put on, they can put on this one. It's a blur and it gives a little bit of a radiance, but I would stay clear of this, and this. So they can still have that radiance through here, but you're not going to want to put a radiant primer anywhere in the oily spots. So you can, but you have to spot treat. So when you have oily skin, I think it's really, truly so important to know your oily areas and work around them and for them, meaning give the oily areas a mattifying primer, and giving radiance to the rest of your face. I think that's like super, 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 super important. And yeah, I mean, I'm okay to answer a few more questions. So you guys let me know. My kids they're quiet right now. So we're good.
I mean, if your request, I mean, we have a lot more. Let's just ask one more quick one.
Like whatever you guys want to do, I'm game.
Let's see.
When my babies aren't crying, I'm like, okay, let's grab a cup of coffee. What are we talking about, ladies?
You
like
are here.
I'm good. I think every mom gets this. I'm like, this is my mom time. This is my, okay, let's do it.
Let's do, okay. My concealer settles in the fine lines under my lower lash. Any tips to prevent this?
Yes, you're probably putting your concealer a little too high. So I know a lot of people want to hear the magic word of like, you're never going to crease. And if anybody tells you that, just know that you cannot trust them in life. They are lying to you. They are like, just never trust that person at all. Don't trust them as far as you can throw them. So you want to stay low whenever you're doing your concealer. So I know I've already powdered, but just so that way you guys see. So do it low, right? And then buff it up. So that way a majority of the product is covering the problem area. So you're covering the problem area and then you're buffing up. So that way the part that your eye creases at is getting the most minimal amount of product, and then a very light dusting, no baking, a very light dusting of powder. Where did my powder brush go? But a very light dusting of powder, and that's it. But at the end of the day, if you didn't have an eye, it wouldn't crease. So that's what I always tell people. I'm like, if you crease, that means that you have an eye and it's working and it's blinking, and that's okay. You can have less creasing by applying the concealer lower and working it up. So that way, again, a majority of the product is through here, which is where we're all dark at anyway. And then just working it up in there. And then you can also take a little trick that I would do whenever I do people's makeup is like, you know, those little pointy Q-tips. So you can take the pointy Q-tip and just take the end of it and just kind of dab the makeup away from that little crease. So that way it's just like that extra makeup is not built up there. So you still get the coverage, you're just kind of getting away that that extra crease makeup where it kind of like went into, if that makes any sense.
Let's see. I love this question. So Lucia asks, I am a natural brunette and olive skin. Which are the best colors for my skin, eyes, and lips? Thank you.
So natural brunette and olive skin. Well, God bless you, because you can pretty much wear anything. So that's just the reality of it. On brunettes, this is the thing. So light brunette or dark brunette?
Didn't natural brunette, I think.
Natural brunette. Okay. Well, either way, I love plums on brunettes. I love plums on brunettes. I think they're so pretty. And especially on like that golden brown eye, I just think plums are so beautiful. But this is the thing, as much as I love that on brunettes, like a really nice warm red, like a warm red brown, right? Like that, like almost like a mahogany brown looks so pretty, because most medium to light brunette. Okay. So most brunettes, I feel like have a little bit of that like golden, right? And especially with the olive skin, it's like a little golden. So when you pick up that like mahogany, warm, coppery brown color and you put it on, I just think it just melts. It's just this like beautiful, like chocolate, like caramel, like it's so pretty. And then plums, like my girlfriend Leah, who was just here, like natural brunette, and she has a little bit more of olive skin, and I've done her makeup and I put plum on her, and it's so beautiful with brunettes. It's so pretty. To wear plum is really hard on me. Like I can do it, it's not my best look.
I feel like every time I chime in, I say this will be the last one, but the good questions just keep on coming. So let's just say Katie asked, any tips on working on deep set downturned eyes?
Deep set downturned.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, deep set downturned. This is going to sound really weird. Younger, more mature.
Did not specify. Younger.
Okay. Okay. Do you want, like, if she wants her eyes to look more like open and like kind of like turned up, you don't need to do a lot of shadow on the outside. So a darker shadow on the outside to you, because they're turned down, is only going to kind of like weigh the eye down a little bit. So you want to keep everything like mid crease. And like how I did the shimmer, like right here, you want to focus on that. You don't want to bring stuff down because that's just going to like weigh down the eye. So you want to bring a little bit of shimmer to here. You want to keep the light right here, and you just kind of want to bounce out the crease right here and bring like kind of like stop, like how I did my eyeshadow out to here, right? If you did that, it's going to weigh your eye down. So you kind of need to stop it like right about there to lift them up and keep them like open, like Bambi. So you're gonna cut it off like right around here. And you can even like cheat the eyeliner, like how I dark mine out. You're gonna want to cheat it like right there and kind of stop it a lot more in than I did mine. And that will help to lift and make it more like Bambi open.
Let's see. Jessica said, any help with wearing makeup with a mask? I'm a nurse, but want to look together when I'm out.
Totally understand that. I have a family of nurses. So one, thank you so much, because literally I don't think the world could have survived without a nurse. So thank you for keeping so many people healthy. That's amazing. And the mask, so like my cousin was saying, you know, like she gets mask acne, and that's a real thing. So what I told her is to go very light, like very light. Like also, if you're keeping on your mask your whole work shift, which you obviously are, I wouldn't even put makeup there. That was my advice to her. I don't know if you're breaking out, but she was breaking out. And I was like, when you have makeup and it's covered by a mask, you are going to break out. So try either like a very light coverage, like a tinted moisturizer, spot treat with concealer, or find a concealer that even has, like, if you are breaking out, like a salicylic acid. So that way you're treating and covering, but keep it very, very, very light. And then, like just like a lip stain to where that way you're not like maneuvering. I told her, because her lips were drying out because of the mask, I told her just lip gloss. I was like, just like a hydrating, like Aquaphor, like put some Aquaphor on there, some Egyptian Magic, just keep them like, you know, like nice and hydrated, because it can dry that out, and then it's the maskity. So I would stay very, very, very light, and see if that helps. Because like, again, I know you want to look good, but you are covered with the mask and you don't want to create acne. You just, you want that coverage. So tinted moisturizer, BB cream, CC cream, or a concealer with salicylic acid, and I would just keep my lips hydrated. Because that was her problem. So I hope that helps. But
we have a question from Jess, and there is no silly questions, even though she said it was. But
I'm the silliest person ever. So like, there's no silly questions. I love silly questions anyway.
There is no question too big or too small, but she said, if you have cool undertones, would you use a cool undertone foundation concealer, or would you use a warm foundation concealer to counteract?
Okay, so this is where I feel like I disagree with makeup school. So I personally, and this is like me personally, I know people are like, oh, you're cool, let's go with a cool tone. I'm like, but why would you want to cool it down even more? Like what, like, I don't understand that theory. And I know that that's like the technical, like real theory. I say you warm it up. So like, for instance, like I have a very like yellow undertone, right? So like I have a yellow undertone. I actually pick more foundations that have a peachy undertone, and then I'll maybe like spot treat with a little like yellow undertone concealer. So that way I'm like going like yellow, peach, yellow. So I say if you have a cool undertone, warm that up, because personally, I think when you put like cool on cool on cool, it's just like it's almost like there's no there's no like life to your face, if that makes any sense. Like same thing with like if you have like more of a peachy undertone, like if you do peachy with a peachy foundation and like this, you're gonna look like a giant peach. So if you're like peachy, add a little cool. I see Natasha laughing at that. You know what I mean. You want to cool it down. So if you have a peach, cool it down. So I say opposites, but I also think that I'm one of the very few people that say opposites, but I say opposites. I think that's what I do. And I think it turns out 10 times better. But that's just my personal opinion.
Well, thank you for all of your, wonderful insight. This has just really been 2 hours, probably best 2 hours of my week and the weeks to come. So us at Blushington and Blushington Academy just wanted to thank everybody again for joining us again. And I'll have some room for you to share any send-off tips or goodbyes, but feel free to keep up to date with Blushington and at Blushington Academy on Instagram. If you are interested in, pursuing a career in makeup or boosting your career, we have the Blushington Academy available. It's welcome to all experienced makeup artists, up and coming artists. We do delegate the classes, and we have a wonderful set of instructors too. Everything that has been discussed here today will be forwarded in an email, so everybody will sort of get a recap of the products used. We will make a recording of the Zoom here available in June. So, if anybody missed anything, or if they just want to listen again to your wonderful insight, they'll get to. But everybody, no, it's great, Jess. It was fantastic. And we also do have the code Jess10 active. So that is for 10% off products at blushington.com. And it's also for 10% off Academy tuition. So again, everybody, please feel free to use that. All of this will be detailed in a post-class email. But I will toss it over to you, Jess, if you have any final goodbyes or send-offs to our wonderful audience here today.
Yes, no, thank you guys so much. I know it's like the middle of the day and it's probably not ideal for most of you. It's obviously my most ideal time, so I'm a little bit selfish because my kids are asleep. So just knowing that you guys like came out and you took time in your day, I really appreciate that, because I think the most like valuable thing that someone can ever give is their time. And I truly appreciate that. Like I'm so like humbled by all of you guys. I get so emotional all the time. And I wasn't even pregnant or breastfeeding. It's so weird. But I let, when people give their time to me, I'm like, that's the most like selfless thing you can give to somebody. And it's like so genuine. So I really truly appreciate like people, maybe you took time off work or you're taking time away from your kids or just whatever. Like I appreciate and truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like your time is so invaluable. And that's also why when I did the video for Blushington, that's why like I told everybody, I'm like, listen, like it's 25 hours. If you did want to do the course, it's 25 hours and you're investing in yourself. And, I come from a single mom, and the best thing my mom always taught me to do was, if no one's going to do this for you, no one's going to, at the end of the day, hopefully you'll have somebody in your corner, but you might not. And that's okay, because you can do everything yourself and you have to invest in yourself. And that's why like this academy was so important. And that's why like classes like this is so important, because I think life gets really hectic. And I think, I'm like a giver. I like to give, but I also have to remember sometimes it's okay to invest in myself. And I do that. Like I work out. That's how I invest in myself for my like mental clarity and to better myself. And I think having a career and investing in it, that's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And you're starting your career with Blushington. If you do the academy, you then have a shop. So again, you're investing in your career, and then you have a whole team backing you that's also investing in you. So you do create a sense of family after you invest in yourself. And I think that that's just something that I think everybody deserves that. And I think that it's like very scary. And I was 18 and I moved to New York and I did makeup and I did it by myself. Like my mama was not the mom that was like, I'll pay your way, sweetheart. We didn't have that money. Like we did not have that type of money. I think my mom made like $40,000. Like I had to do it all by myself. And I did it, and I still invest in myself. I still will go online and I will pay for a MasterClass. I still do it because that's knowledge that no one can take away from me. And I think you always have to know that no matter how far you are, you're always learning. And I said this when I spoke to the graduates of the academy, like I could learn from every single one of you. There's something that every single one of you that are here in this MasterClass could teach me as a person, as a mom, as a friend, as an artist. Like it's something. And I think that when people stop listening and they stop learning, that's when they stop growing. Like 100%. That is when you hit your max and you are never going to get better than that right there. But the more you're open to hearing other people and listening and learning. Like, it's just like, there's no ceiling on that. And I think that's like something really important to know. And yeah, so that's kind of what I want to leave you guys with. And just like, I cannot tell you thank you enough. And I appreciate every single one of you and your all's time. And if you have any questions, like, message me on Instagram. You know, I have 2 kids. I'll try to get to them. I have 2 businesses, so I will, you know, it might take me a while, but I'll try to like read a bunch and answer. So it means a lot to me. And I think that is it. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.